hello, Life on Par family. Welcome to another episode. I'm Tangi Abel, your host for Life on Par, which is brought to you by the RLE Go Fore It Foundation. This podcast is about introducing our youth audience to careers that you might not have thought about, interesting and exciting careers. And I'm so excited about today's show. You can follow us on all social media. We are at Go For It USA. That's GoForeIt USA. We're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So be sure to follow us. I'm so excited about today's show. I've been looking forward to this one for a while, and I think you're really going to find it interesting. I have the pleasure of telling you about a career that many of you may have seen from afar, but maybe you haven't thought about it for yourself. So we have some folks here who are going to tell you about how they became pilots. First, want to introduce to you Jermaine Bibb. He hails from Louisville, Kentucky. He's a dedicated pilot and aviation enthusiast. He holds an associate degree in business and also a bachelor's degree in communication. He currently serves as the media coordinator and public information officer for the Kentucky Department of Aviation. Jermaine brings over 600 flight hours to his role, combining his passion for flying with his expertise in communication. He's a devoted father and community advocate. He actively volunteers as a pilot with the EAA Young Eagles program, where he inspires and mentors the next generation of aviators. He's really big on social media, and I kind of had a fangirl moment when I met him today. So, Jermaine, welcome to the show.
Appreciate you having me.
And we also have with us Kacy Thompson Smith. Kacy was born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky. She's the oldest sibling of three. She's married to Ricky Smith for 2 years and counting. Congratulations. She has aspirations to fly for UPS. She went to college and graduated in 2017 from the University of Kentucky, and she started flying in 2020. That was not so long ago. She earned a commercial license for single engine and multi-engine land and instrument rating, also certified flight instructor with instrument instructor and multi-engine instructor add-on. She currently works as a flight instructor, flying out of Bowman Airfield. She has 990 total flight hours and 590 hours dual given. So welcome to the show, Kacy. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So I'm so excited to talk about this today. So let's just jump right in. Let's kind of go back to the beginning a little bit. So let's talk about when you decided that you wanted to be a pilot. Was that something you guys thought about like as you were kids, or did it strike you later in life? How did you make that decision? And if you thought about it as a kid, like who inspired you in that way?
So growing up, I always thought about aviation. My dad was interested in aviation. And as a daddy's girl, you kind of just take on what your father shows you. And so did a couple of summer camps where I got to meet pilots, mechanics, people who were very involved in the industry. And I got to see a whole different side of growing up in a different community. And so when I got older, got my college degree, I just knew that it was time to start flight training after that.
Interesting. Okay. So your father kind of inspired you. His love for things aviation kind of influenced you.
Yeah, and it's funny because he's not a pilot. In Louisville, Kentucky, there's planes everywhere. We have the UPS World Port in the city,
Okay.
and so there's always planes flying over the house. Kentucky Derby happens every year, so the air show is a huge event that happens in the city. They bring in old military aircraft, big cargo planes, people who fly aerobatics, and they put on a really cool show. And every once in a while, an airplane really loud will fly over the house, and so you just look up into the sky and see, what is that? Where did that come from? What are they doing? And it's just a curiosity that always stayed with me.
Nice. Okay. Thanks for sharing. What about you, Jermaine? When did your love or desire to be a pilot, when did that strike you?
Oh, well, I would just probably say it struck me when, right, maybe after high school when I started traveling more. My auntie took me to, as a graduation present from high school, she blessed me with a trip to London and France. So
Nice.
as, started, they initiated the traveling in me. And then, of course, when you get on the aircraft, you see the cockpit. Everybody's all me, even at, I guess, young age, teenager and everything, you still look to the left and like, whoa, look at all them buttons.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
so that was pretty cool to me. And I always wanted to, just from traveling more, it's like, okay, well, how can I get more? How can I travel more, but as a career? And then I was curious about becoming a pilot, and I eventually started working at UPS, not to get into a pilot, but just because it was funding my school and everything. And after that, I walked out to a ramp and introduced myself to one of the captains, and he took me out to Bowman Field, and that was kind of took me for my first flight. I didn't do a discovery flight with a flight school or anything. I didn't really know how to get into it, but I just walked up to him and talked to him, and he was like, "You need to get out here and let's go for a flight." So we had a buddy who owned a plane, and that was got the bug since, and
Wow.
ever since then I was striving to be, get my next steps into becoming a pilot. So he was like, "You need to work at the airport," and one thing led to another, and I got my first lesson. So
Great.
yeah,
We met Jermaine and Kacy today at the airport. They actually flew down to see us today. So we're so excited about that. And I'm sure we have some footage we can share with you to show them flying, showing them in their element and showing you when they came down here today. So that was really great. So I'm glad you all had those people in your lives who kind of inspired this in you. So awesome. Let's talk about like along your aviation journey. So you thought about becoming a pilot, you started taking the steps. Can you tell us a little bit about what it took to become a pilot? So like the training and things like that, because in our audience, you're talking to young people who are thinking about careers. So just give them an idea of kind of what it takes and tell us about any bumps along the way, like any setbacks or any challenges and things like that, because we know those kinds of things happen.
right.
So funny enough, I first got into flight training. I saw one of Jermaine's social media posts, and I was like, I wanted to do it, and I had no idea where to start at. So I reached out, and how did you get into flying, and who did you go to, and who do I talk to? And he just told me to reach out to a flight school, and I did. It Googled flight school in my area. And then the owner just had me message an instructor who brought me in one day, told me the whole process of starting flight training, what the requirements were to get my first license, and then where to go once you start building time for whatever your goals and aspirations are. So starting out, I took a flight with the instructor called a discovery flight, 1 hour in the airplane, and we just went up. He showed me, you know, turns, descents, climbs, steep turns, and then we came in for landing. And after that, what do I do after this? So you go through 40 hours of flight training time where you learn how to land, you solo, you do your cross country time, which is super cool because now you get to fly from one airport to another. And then you go and do it by yourself without
Yeah.
your instructor.
Wow.
Yep.
So that was awesome because then it's kind of like, I'm a real pilot at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And then you get ready to take a test with the examiner, and he signs you off and gives you your first license to learn.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I did. It took me about 2 years to start out, and ever since then, I hit the ground running on getting the rest of my ratings after that.
Okay. And so when you say ratings, you're talking about, so they're like kind of different certifications. It means you've passed like certain milestones. You can fly higher, further, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so your private license, I call it your license to learn. You're flying. by yourself or with passengers. Maybe you take your mom up one day, your friend up one day, and you guys go get $100 burger, what we call it. So you go to like a different airport because you got to pay for the plane, right? So you pay for the plane to go sit down and buy like an actual $10 hamburger.
Right.
And then you got to fly back. So that's an adventure of its own. And you do that, you can do that with your first license. After that, you get your instrument rating, your license to fly through the clouds. So now you're not looking at the ground anymore. You're looking at your instrument panel, and then your commercial license. That's your license to get paid. So then you can start flying for monetary value at that point because there's a lot of restriction. So you get all your ratings to build up time, experience, and to be the safest pilot that you can be.
Okay. That's very interesting. Thank you for that. Yeah. And what about you, Jermaine? So, along your aviation journey, kind of how did you get there? Like what the training is and any
Right.
roadblocks or challenges you had along the way?
Right. Well, that UPS pilot I met when I was working at UPS at the time, he was like, so the first thing I recommend you doing, well, he told me to get a degree first and everything, just because cause I wanted to be an airline pilot, that's one of the requirements. They want you to have some sort of degree, associate's degree, bachelor's. I did. So I worked towards getting my associates. Then since I was at U of L through the feeder program at UPS, it rolled over for me working at going to University of Louisville and get my bachelor's degree. But he was like, get your degree, and if I was you, I'd work at the airport as well. So I ended up working at the local airport, Bowman Field, which is, the smaller airport, some of the smaller aircraft. They're not really handling the big jets or anything, but I was filling planes there. So with that experience, it just kind of allowed me to get my hands into aviation without actually paying for flight training. So I was filling up these flight schools and talking to instructors, which is a benefit in itself because, you pay for the instructor's time when you start your training. But if you're over there just talking to them while you're filling their plane up, the conversation might just linger on or whatever. But eventually I ended up paying for my own flight lesson. So I was just saving up for that because they would tell you, save up all the money, save up the fund because it's not no cheap. Aviation's not cheap. So you want to save up as much money as you can just so you can be as consistent as possible. I didn't save up enough money to fund my whole private license, but I funded enough where I was like, okay, I just dived in. So my 26th birthday, I was like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and pay for this lesson. And that's kind of where it started right there. So that's when the aviation journey began. And after that, I tried to stay consistent with flying at least once a week, make sure I had that funds. I was working 2 or 3 jobs at the time just to make sure I was funding that. And I didn't think I had any loans or anything at the time. So, but just from that advice of him telling me work at the airport, which benefited a lot because the flight school I was flying with actually gave me a different rate instead of paying for plane and fuel through them, since I worked at the airport, I was able to get a discounted fuel rate as well. So instead of paying the $6.50 a gallon, I was getting it for $4.50. The rate that the actual FBO was getting it, the people who were supplying the fuel. So that saved me a lot of money in the long run too, and all that. So definitely a blessing, just networking itself, which can go a long way.
Yeah.
So that would be definitely my recommendation if somebody wanted to get into it, is just go and work at the airport initially, or just go out and talk to a pilot or something. And that's how my journey began itself. So it was
That's
pretty
really
cool.
good information. And that just shows that I think with what both of you shared, like you were really persistent, you found a way. So that's really good. That's really good. So I asked this question today when Jermaine and Kacy landed, like, what are you thinking about when you're up there flying? Like, can you be on your phones? Can you like talk to people on the plane? Are you not allowed to do that? Like, what is it really like when you're up there flying? Like, you listen to music?
Yeah, well, up there flying, of course you're focused on getting to your altitude or maintaining the aircraft, making sure all the fuel system and engine gauges are good. But I guess the pastime, we do listen to music. Today on the flight, I probably was bugging Kacy a lot, but it was a long flight and everything. But we try to keep ourselves entertained on our toes and stuff.
Yeah.
Because once the autopilot kick in, and your monitor scanning the instruments, it can get boring. So and then next thing you know, your passenger's asleep or whatever it may be. But it's all fun because
That's what you hope for.
Oh yeah, right. But it's listen to music and talking to the ATC because you'll stay busy with that as well because it's not just you're not talking to anybody. You're talking to different air traffic controllers as you're traveling through different regions of the country. And for us, from coming from Kentucky, we probably talked to 4 or 5 different control towers or centers, and you listen to other pilots talk and all that stuff. So there's different ways you can pass your time, but of course, while maintaining that focus of keeping the aircraft, making sure the aircraft is flying, all the instruments are good because you can't get too comfortable.
Right.
Otherwise, you might get hit randomly. But even at that, you're still always thinking about, okay, if something does happen, I know what I'm gonna do next, or what we're gonna do next. Since Kacy and I are both proficient pilots, I'm sure we're both comfortable flying, and if any emergency situation does happen, that we know trust our capabilities of getting us safely to the ground or whatever it may be. But so a variety of things.
And what about you, Kacy? You like to listen to music? You like to talk, or just kind of stay focused on?
I like to listen to music. I'll play like music without words, and then like chit chat with my cohorts. Or my second thought is, how are we going to get down? So you're always like planning ahead, right? Like we knew we were coming to Concord, so what runway are they landing? What's their weather reporting? Who are we going to talk to next? When are we going to switch tanks? How much fuel are we going to have when we land? Where's our next fuel stop? If something were to happen, where are we going to land? What's the closest airport around here? So you're constantly as a pilot, you should always be working. There's never downtime.
Yeah, they say stay ahead of the aircraft.
Stay ahead of the aircraft.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to think about, a lot that goes into it, right?
Yes. Yep.
This is what you work for, though. It's what you train. You see what you train. So all your training, like the different ratings from the private, the instrument, the commercial, the multi, it kind of it prepares you, and then you put in a lot of hours. Like the requirement for it to go to the airline is 1,500 hours, with 1,000 hours for some people too. So they have that high time for a reason, so you can be on your toes, proficient, serious, and everything. So it's a lot to think about, and when you're flying and all that, but. It's fun though. It's pretty cool. It's definitely a privilege and a blessing to be able to do what we do, even in the small aircraft at the moment. Well, I'm confident we'll both be flying jets here soon. So
Working on it.
Yeah, working on it.
Awesome. I love that. And today was just so eye-opening because the airport that you all flew into, there were 2 rather big celebrities that came through. One is a politician that everybody would know the name. The other is athlete, like a mega athlete that everybody would know. And nice, pretty, shiny planes out there on the runway.
Yes.
Very big, very large.
Yeah,
Motivation.
Not at all.
That's motivation
Very
right there.
Very demure.
Yes.
Very cute.
Very mindful. So, like, how have you guys had any celebrity encounters, like at your, your flights or at the airports, doing these private flights or anything like that? You don't have to name names, but like politicians, athletes, musicians, anything like that.
I have not.
Oh, you haven't?
I have not. I guess I'm hanging around the wrong people. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I've flown with pilots who fly for people who have some celebrity status. So I think those are the cool people because it's like, how did you get into that position? And I mean, some of my mentors, I think they're celebrities because, in the aviation world, at least, they walk into a room and everybody knows them and they're like, they're retired 747 captain. It's like, and that 747s, that's the end goal right there.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
So you really appreciate those people, the celebrities, they pay for the plane. That's awesome. That is awesome. I want to meet the person that's flying the airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Oh,
You have any encounters?
well, I mean, I have a few. Well, outside of, working at the airport, of course, you kind of run through across a lot of people, especially like Kacy said, during Kentucky Derby and everything. So, I've met a few, well, not met them, but, a few of the plane of the celebrities, not necessarily the pilots. I met the pilots and everything, but not necessarily meeting the celebrity themselves. But you'll see a couple big time people that come through, especially with the college, University of Louisville, like a lot of new coaches who come through who get popular. So, you see them on ESPN since I'm a big sports guy. So it's like, okay, then I take
I'm sure
pictures as well.
Kentucky Derby brings it a lot.
Yeah, no, Kentucky Derby brings in a lot of people. I've seen Tom Brady a couple of times and everything. So
Nice.
that's pretty cool. They're like seeing them land at the smaller airports and just seeing their interaction. I've flown the governor one time working with the state with my job. So that's one of the blessings and the privileges of being a pilot and in media. So because if our main pilot goes not available, I get the call up. So
Nice.
the blessing of being able to fly the governor, which is, I mean, I don't care who it is, just flying somebody of that status and even being trusted with that is pretty cool to say too. So, so being it's a big responsibility
That's a
for
big,
sure.
yeah. That shows the trust
Absolutely.
that people have to have in you as pilots.
Absolutely,
So that's awesome.
No, absolutely. So that's probably the biggest status part. Me flying somebody as a governor, and this was at the time he was Governor Andy Beshear. He was potentially gonna be vice president. So
That's right.
So I posted a selfie. He hopped in the cockpit with me. Like, yo, can I get a selfie, please? And he was mad cool. So I was got that frame at the crib for sure.
Nice.
You know, and like I said, it doesn't matter the political stance or whatever, but just the opportunity to do that is such a blessing, and can't go past that.
That's awesome. I did a little research and thought about like different celebrities that have planes, and we can just kind of imagine for a minute, like one day, you know, we're doing the 747 rating and all of that. Like you might be flying some of these people around. So let's talk about like some celebrities who have pilot licenses. Do y'all know some celebrities who have a pilot license?
A couple of them.
Yeah, a couple of them.
Yeah.
Like Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, that's a huge one because he got inspired from flying when he was doing Top Gun.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That
I
was
didn't know that.
okay. I didn't know that.
And now he owns like his own
does
fighter
own-
jet or something. I don't know.
kind of
What are those
aircraft.
old war
Oh,
words?
like a P-51.
Yeah,
Like how-
something like
okay.
that.
Yeah, that's
Which
pretty
is
cool.
like crazy.
Yeah,
It's a very Tom Cruise thing.
you will have to be very.
Very Top Gun thing.
Yeah.
That's
Gotta
not.
have a few coins.
Yeah, that's not an
So these are
average
old. Yeah, these are
pilot
old.
right there.
These are old numbers. Yeah, facts.
Yeah, John Travolta's he's a big one because he's got his ATP, I believe.
Yeah, he flies jets. He flies his own jet.
He flies jet.
He has a runway.
Yeah.
At his house.
Okay.
Yes. Tyler Perry's a one
Oh,
too.
yep. Tyler Perry.
Yeah,
he
so-
flies as well too.
Tyler Perry. Yep.
Yep.
I see Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman.
Oh, and so I heard, so the research said Tyler Perry, well, he bought an island, right, in the Caribbean, and it was very hard to get to. So, like, how do you solve that problem? Obviously, you just get a pilot's license. Like,
Just get a
what else
plane.
would you do?
Yeah,
Just get a
yeah.
plane. What else would you do?
Lil Duval too is one too.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
He's huge on social media for flying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's some celebrities who don't have their pilot license, but they own private planes. So you could be flying around Beyonce and Jay-Z, Oprah, Travis Scott has his own plane, Taylor Swift, for all my Swifties out there.
Drake.
Drake.
Yep.
That's
the
right.
OVO plane. Yep.
Look up.
His own plane.
If you read this, it's too late or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. He got a little message on the bottom of his plane. But that's it.
Oh, you put that on.
He
the
has a
bottom?
message.
That's funny.
Yeah, he got a message on the bottom of his plane that.
If you can read this.
Well, don't quote me on that one. I don't know, but it's something like
but
that though.
yeah.
But like it's like he's gone. Yes, he's leaving or
Yeah.
something. But
Nice.
that's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who knows? One day you may be flying those people around.
That'd be nice.
that'd be-
I got my resume ready.
Real talk. Almost walk up to Jordan's jet.
Right.
What you doing in here, sir?
Can I drop this off with the FBO?
Very nice. I look forward to it. I expect nothing less than that from you all. We're going to kind of wrap up a little bit, but I want to mention a couple more things on the career path for our audience out there. So Jermaine and Kacy are pilots. You know, that's one path that you can take in the aviation industry, but there are a lot of other people, right? As we were kind of talking about this before, there are a lot of people that are needed to make the flight happen, right? So like, what are some of those other roles, just around aviation? People didn't want to necessarily become a pilot, but there's what else? Like air traffic control. I heard you mention that.
Yeah, air traffic controller. You got which is ATC. You got the ground operations people, flight crew. Just like I was doing flying tech. You know, that's people who feel the plane are important. Then you can go to lawyers and
I think biggest one is mechanics.
mechanics.
You're not getting in the air without
Yeah,
a mechanic.
yeah.
Yes.
Mechanic is and they make great money too. You know, something as cool as, you're working on a plane. I mean, if you're a car person, people have know how to change the oil to your car. You can change the oil to a plane, then get even deeper, and then you're working on the engine, and they make decent money as well.
Dispatcher, somebody has to put the flight together, the flight planning, because when you get up into flying the big planes or the regionals or SkyWest, Southwest, somebody has to put that flight together. And the pilot who's hopping leg to leg to leg can't do each
They coordinate
flight plan.
right.
Yeah, so
They
there's a
coordinate that.
dispatcher that does that work for them. And sometimes they get to work from home and they're making pretty decent money.
For to be at the
Nice.
crib.
Yeah, if I wasn't a pilot, I'd probably be a dispatcher.
Really? I think
Yeah.
I'd be air traffic. Well, I don't know, actually. I lied. I don't know.
Air
But
traffic controller is a super cool job as well.
it is a cool job,
Yeah.
but it get crazy. It can
Yeah.
get crazy. It get crazy. But it's a very cool job being up in the tower and talking to planes, runway 24 clear to land. And it's like, then the pilot respond.
Yep.
But medical exam, DMEs, designated medical examiners. So those are the people who are giving the medical exams to the pilots because you have to be a certain.
Oh, okay.
You have to have a medical, aviation medical.
Yeah, aviation
So it's
medical.
kind of like a sports physical, but aviation version.
Right.
Okay.
So you have to go to a specific doctor that's
type of doctor.
Yeah.
Not a specific
Yeah.
doctor, but like a different. Yeah.
Yes.
They have to have. Yeah, I don't know how it works, but
they're certified to do aviation medical exams.
Okay.
and it's nothing crazy. I mean, you just make sure your eyes is good, and if you got adjusted eye vision or whatever,
Healthy heart. Take care of yourself.
Yes.
You got to be healthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is very important because
Yes.
you don't want
we want healthy pilots.
Yes.
Yeah.
you want healthy
Definitely
pilots.
want healthy pilots.
So
Yes.
that's pretty cool.
That's awesome because it definitely takes a team. Great. So we're going to end up here with just a very short, quick fire round of questions. First one, coffee or tea?
Tea.
T.
Same for me, tea.
Tea.
Okay. How do you spend your free time? Outside of piloting and working, how do you spend your free time?
I like to be outside if I can. Walk. It's getting cold now, but walking through the park, that's always nice.
So I have my daughter, so I spend a lot of time with her, and outside of that, I'm a photographer and videographer as well. So I try to stay busy with sports photography and getting booked for that, making money.
Yes, yes. That's a great way to spend time. Love it. But me, on the other hand, I'm always spending money in my free time. So
That
my
too.
thing
Yep.
is travel. I could not live without travel. So
I'm
yeah.
gonna kind of add travel to mine too.
Yeah, add travel to it. Yes. Put that on your list. Okay. What's your hidden talent?
I have a creative side. Art. Yeah. So it's funny. Before I started flight training, I was in art school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, so
You
what
still
kind
paint?
of art?
Oh,
What,
sorry, look,
is
I'm
it
acting like
painting
this
or?
I did painting. You can call it multimedia. So 3D, 2D, painting, pastel. We were putting together media, on the computer kind of art. So
Oh, like
just a little bit of
Illustrator,
it.
like Adobe
Yeah.
stuff and all that?
Yeah.
Oh, dope.
Yep. Yep.
What?
That's what I was learning right before
I
I
didn't know it.
started
That's what's
flight
up.
training.
That's
So.
pretty cool, Kacy.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I like it. What about you?
I speak Spanish a little bit, but that's not really a talent. It's just like
That is a talent.
Oh,
That
for real?
That counts. That
You
counts.
want to hear me talk Spanish?
Yes.
For real? Okay. I gotta start. I don't know. It's always hard for me to start. It's like, yo hablo español. Pero then it's like, okay.
No hablo español.
Estoy bien, pero estoy piloto. Soy de Kentucky.
Okay.
Want me to speak more? Want me to keep going?
I like it.
That's all I understand.
Because I was going to say that was my hidden talent, but I think he has.
No, well, it was very simple Spanish, but like it always, like, I like talking Spanish, but it's always when I'm talking with somebody else that speaks Spanish, then it's like, I say all that, then they come back to me like,
Right.
then I'm like,
And you like, what? Yeah.
but no,
I know how that is. Yeah. I would say that's my hidden talent as well. So I used to be pretty proficient in Spanish, well, almost fluent. But after years and years of not speaking it and using it, I lost
you
a
don't
lot
have
of it.
friends and everything, and that's the only thing. Like I can get us out of Mexico, probably.
Right.
When we get lost.
I have been in some situations and my Spanish came in handy. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. So last one, what is your go-to comfort food?
Ice cream.
Like it. Like it. What flavor?
Cookie dough.
Oh,
French
that's a
vanilla
good
cookie
one.
dough. Yeah.
That's a good one. What about you?
Dang, I mean, I could probably say cereal or some ramen noodles with some hot sauce.
Okay.
Ramen
Okay.
So
Take me back to middle school.
yeah, well, taking it back to college when nobody had no money.
That part. That, yes.
But it's
I
always
remember those
it always
days.
come in clutch though.
Yeah.
But nah, I mean, I can eat. I love me some cereal. Go with me some
What's
cinnamon
your
toast
favorite?
crunch.
Cinnamon
I
toast.
mean, I don't know. The big three is cinnamon toast crunch, Apple Jacks, and
Ooh, yes.
I used to go crazy for Golden Grams. Like
Oh, wow.
the
Yeah.
Golden. I think it's called Golden Grams, right?
It was like cinnamon toast crunch, but like,
No cinnamon.
yeah.
Yeah, my mom used to have those all the time, and she used to be mad at me when I used to eat the whole box.
In one day.
Yeah, well, no,
As soon as she
2
came back
days,
from the
2 or 3
grocery
days,
store.
and you know the bowls gonna be little at home. You know the boys get the big bowls.
Oh
So,
my goodness, I love that. I would say my comfort food is pancakes. Like
Yes.
I cannot live without pancakes.
That's a
Like,
good one.
Pancakes
yeah,
is
that's
fire.
my vision of
Do you
heaven. Is
put
just
like
pancakes,
original?
plain,
Yes.
plain, nothing on them.
Blueberries do
syrup
not
with syrup though.
belong
I
in
do
yeah.
syrup,
pancakes.
yeah, but I can. I mean, I'll eat them without syrup. But
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Get you
love
some milk.
Wow, that's different. Okay.
It's a whole
I love
childhood
pancakes
thing.
too.
Yeah.
I love pancakes too.
Yeah. So thank you all for, joining us today on Life on Par. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Once again, you can follow us on social media at Go For It USA. And just want to give you guys kind of the final word before we go out there and hit some balls, play some golf. But do you have any final parting words? Like, I don't know if you want to share like any website resources or anything like that you think would be helpful for our audience, or just any words of encouragement, any words of advice, because remember, they're out there thinking about their future and their careers. And I'm sitting here with two amazing people who have, are in a career that a lot of people think they can't do. So give you kind of the last words.
Don't wait. Take action. Procrastination is a killer.
Oh my gosh, he's right.
I'm talking to myself right now, but
That's
yeah.
a good word.
But get involved. I mean, volunteering has took me so far. I got involved with my local 99s chapter, my Women in Aviation chapter, OBAP. Just being involved, being around people who are doing what you want to do helps put you in a position to do what you want to do. So, yeah, be around the people who you want to be, like who you look up to. Keep in touch with those mentors who want to help you, or even if it's just a little bit of time that they spent talking to you. They care. Don't think they don't care, and always keep in touch with them. But yeah, get involved, volunteer. That sets you up to get scholarships, because aviation is not cheap, and scholarships are very, very beneficial.
And they're out there too.
And they're out there. There's so much money out there, because there's a lot of people who retired from these big companies, just want to help the next young pilot
Absolutely.
get into the industry.
facts.
So go look for those people. Go find those people who I don't know, who might need a friend at the airport. We call it being an airport rat, where you just like
Hanging out
you
the
go
airport.
just hang out the airport. Go from
You ain't
hangar to
lying.
hangar and go to flight school to flight school. There's somebody sitting around not doing something, that probably just looking for somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
And networking is key. So
Thank you for that, Kacy.
Absolutely.
That's really good. Do you want to share any your social media handles with the folks, or?
you can reach out to me on Facebook. I'm involved with my local 99s Women in Aviation chapter on Facebook. So that's how I send a lot of my ladies. OBAP is also on Facebook as well too. My name on Facebook is Kacy Marie.
Okay, thank you. And Jermaine, any last words for the audience?
I would just definitely tell, especially the audience, the kids, that like don't be afraid to reach out. Like I was not afraid to rush you. I walked on the ramp of the airport. I stopped working and went out there. So don't be afraid to reach out to whoever it is or whatever you want to do in life. Just if you see somebody doing it, take the time to go talk to them. Slide in their DMs if because you never know. Because people are in my inbox too asking me, hey, how can I do this? How can I get involved with that? And there are plenty of resources and plenty of people that are out there who really want to help.
Yeah.
The people who help me is always telling me, pay it forward. And I'm because I didn't get here by myself. You know, God
Right.
is good, and I'm a man by faith and everything. So I want to help the next, generation or whoever wants to get involved with aviation or photography or whatever I have connections with. Because if that person doesn't know, that he knows somebody probably, or he or she knows somebody that made. So don't be afraid to reach out. Stay consistent. That's a big thing too. Once you get into it at an early age, if you can, or if you're thinking about doing this aviation stuff in particular, try to get it early, because it will definitely be beneficial. It's never too late, for sure. It's never too late, Miss Angie.
Yes.
As we was talking about that in the car.
I'm going to get a pilot's license.
Yeah, it's never too late. But the earlier the better, because you can go ahead and get access to these scholarships at a young age. And even OBAP funds, I don't think they have certain age requirements for certain scholarships, but they do have scholarships available for people who are planning on pursuing their pilot's aviation career or whatever down the road later in life. There's opportunities like that out there. So stay consistent. Don't be afraid to reach out to these folks, and be a positive attitude. That's a good takeaway too. Just my energy. I like to bring energy to the table, whatever it is, and I think that got me in a lot of rooms that the networking side. Just like people want to be around me, and I say that humbly, but I take pride in being the person that I am. I want to send off good vibes, and because vibe is contagious, the energy is contagious, smiling is contagious, all that stuff, and you never know what it's going to lead to, and that's kind of how I got the opportunities I'm in now, flying the governor and everything, because people they pick up something good. So and if you're gonna be out there, be a good vibe for people and be good to people, because you never know who that person may know or who that person may introduce you to, and what opportunities may come from that. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's why my advice to the youngins out there listening, for sure, take advantage of all that if you can.
Great words. And what about your social media?
Oh yeah, you can follow me. Yeah, I'm on social media. So I'm on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and I post my videos. So that's kind of how we came apart and everything. So I'm on you can just search my name, Jermaine Bibb, and that's literally on everything. Pilot Jermaine Bibb on TikTok. Facebook, you can find me on my personal Facebook's Jermaine Bibb, but I have a pilot page as well, Pilot Jermaine Bibb, and on YouTube, just Jermaine Bibb. So if you search Jermaine Bibb, Google. Matter of fact, just Google me.
Just Google me. Just Google him.
Let us what?
I'm kind of Googleable.
Yeah.
I humbly say, but it's pretty cool to share that, because I'm sharing an experience, and it's not really, I'm not even making money off of it yet. But I'm really close. So
you will be,
matter of fact,
yes.
go subscribe actually and watch all my videos. Yeah, go subscribe to my YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I'm very, very close and watch the videos. But it's just all about sharing experience though. And you never know, because people be like, dang. And representation matters too. Like, dang,
That's
I
right.
didn't even know I could do it. So I'm trying to make it look cool by sharing these videos, because it is a cool thing to do. So, but yeah. I appreciate it. We appreciate it for real. Miss
Thank
Angie,
you
for
so
having us.
much.
Thank you for
this
having
has
us.
been awesome. I could talk to you all for hours. So
Yeah, we
thank you so much. I know you have to fly back home now, right?
It's all good though. We the pilots, so we decide when we want to leave.
We leave when we want.
Stick around. We leave when we facts. Yeah, we leave when we want.
That's amazing. I love that attitude. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Life on Par, and we look forward to seeing you the next time.
Welcome back, Life on Par family. My name is Raina Pozo. For those of you who are new, I will be your pro for the day. Welcome back to Tips, Tricks, and Tools for your golf game. Today, we're going to keep it pretty simple. We're going to go into short game today, working on chipping. Now, when we think about chipping, we think about being around the front area of the green within that 10, 20-yard area, and just working on those nice, smooth, small shots where we want to get a little bit of height and a little bit of bounce on our golf ball so it can spin up to the flag and just roll right up to us. So for chipping today, we're going to work on that really nice, tight, small swing. We're going to close our stance a little bit, meaning our feet are going to be a little bit closer together. Once we're here, we are going to push our weight forward. Once our weight is forward, depending on what type of wedge you have, you can use a 60, a 58, 56, 54, a pitching wedge if you prefer. Just depends on your game. Today, I have a 60-degree with me. And all we're doing, once our stance is closed, our weight is forward, we're looking to just kind of put our hands a little bit forward, keep that face nice and flat, nice and open so we can get underneath the ball. And it's just a very tiny, very small swing, nothing too crazy, nothing too extra. We're just looking to make sure that we get a nice little height on the golf ball and it just rolls out to the flag for us. So for today, we do have a small segment and we're gonna work on our chipping and kind of work on that feel and kind of work on our touch a little bit. For today's segment, since we're just working really close, All we're looking for is to work on that little bit of a bounce and just get that ball up into the air and just pop it up there. That's all we're looking to do today. I've got 2 amazing guests with me today, and we're gonna go right into it. We're gonna have them set up and work on those small chips and work on that swing. First one up, we'll have you set up right there. That'll be perfect. So, like I mentioned, we're doing a really small swing today. She has a beautiful setup, nice closed stance. We are going to push the hands forward, but keep that face nice and open. And all we're looking to is work toward our target. We're going to bring that club straight back and through. Good, pop up in the air. It's okay, direction comes with time. Go ahead and hit another one.
Okay.
Make sure we finish with our face pointing at our target. Good, weight forward. Draw the club back. Almost. One more. You're doing great. You're doing great.
Thank you.
Good. Nice. Great improvement. See? Just takes a little bit of time. All right. Our second guest, you have now got to meet the challenge. We've got one in for orange. What can red do? The pressure is on. The pressure is on. Now, like I mentioned before, depending on what type of degree wedge you have, it's going to vary what type of shots you get. Our next guest here, it might say 54, everyone, but it was bent to a 58. Don't be fooled. Go ahead and set up to our golf ball. So, once again, we want to make sure our stance is nice and tight, a little bit closer together. Good. We're going to make sure our hands are forward, but that face is open so we can get underneath the ball and make sure we get a nice lift. Small swing, draw that club back. Ooh, good line, good height, a little long. We're going to adjust for distance. So that means we might take a smaller swing. Almost. We got a little grass in there.
So I need to get up under it more?
A little bit more. Also, this grass is like super high. Okay. Typically in a situation, the grass wouldn't be as tall. In our case, we're going to sit that ball up on the grass. Good, nice open face. There we go. Ooh, close. Does he have another? He has another.
Cigar.
Another.
Good, yep, sit on top of the grass.
Got it.
Ooh, almost, but it's
Got
okay.
it. Good job, bro.
We're gonna try this one more time, but let's work on building that height.
That's pretty cool.
1, 2. Orange is still in the lead. Why do you have 4 and she only had 3?
Oh, right here.
Oh.
Because I made my third one.
Ooh. All right, nope, Red, you're gonna start us off again since you're already up here.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
One more time.
Tight.
Good, tight stance.
Okay.
Face open, meaning our face is nice and flat so we can get that height underneath the ball. And hands are forward. Now, you did a great thing earlier and made a much smaller swing, more of like a putting stroke. Because we're this close, that can also work. Just make sure that we finish our swing, come all the way through to the end.
How tight does the grip should be?
How tight should your grip be? Your grip is going to be about average. We're not looking for a super tight grip here. Something about mid-range, a little relaxed, nice and easy, a nice and gentle swing, very relaxed.
Okay.
Nice, good adjustment.
Let me keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
You want to try this?
Ooh, oh, that was great.
Thank you. We're like even now
Yeah.
since
Yeah.
we can both put it on the board.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Thanks for the tips. These are great.
Birds are chewing you on too. Let's go. Gotta get this one.
Kind of hit it with our blade a little bit.
Stay a
Make sure
little-
that
get a
face
little
stays
lower.
nice and open. Finish up nice and tall. We want to make sure that we're getting underneath the ball when that face is nice and open. Let's see. This one. Try now. There we go. Ooh, nice. Good pop up.
Just a little heavy.
Just a little heavy. It's okay. Make our adjustments. So we make adjustments for distance. You don't always have to shorten your swing, but it is an option. You can always maybe decrease your power and your follow through, but you can also shorten your swing, but make sure we still finish the swing nonetheless. Almost. All right, orange.
My turn?
Do I need to can I get my balls?
Yes,
Keep them there.
I would say grab the ones that weren't in the nets.
Okay.
All right, red is taking the lead. Good. Set. Beautiful. You can actually come up just a little bit. So we don't always have to be too far away. I want to make sure that you're nice and comfortable. Your hands can be a little bit closer to the body since we're working a little bit closer. There you go. Face nice and open. Ooh,
Oh, I think I'm pressing down on it. That's
just a little bit. Oh, good swing, good follow through. Just a little long, it's okay. Good. Oh, don't
overcorrected.
decelerate. Yep.
I can
How
see
many people actually keep going? I mean, keep in the hole every time.
Every single time with this game specifically?
Yes.
This is my first time playing this game.
Like, does the guest normally get?
Oh, nice. It's spoken into existence. You spoke it into existence. Awesome. That was a great little chipping segment that we just did. We saw some great chips today. We also saw some great form as well and some great adjustments too. First starting out, we were a little bit short, but we made those adjustments to get underneath the ball and worked on getting our weight all the way through the swing. Overall, we had a great segment today. We look forward to seeing you guys again back here at Life Will Par's Tips, Tricks, and Tools. Till next time, everybody, have a great day.